Hi, friends and family. I hope you had a great 4th of July weekend. This is summer, it's July. And even though the COVID has prevented many of us, including myself, to travel back to France, I wanted to film a little video to share my top 6 tips on how to enhance your next trip to Paris, make it a memorable and beautiful experience. I remember I was there just last summer, so it's really fresh in my head. And let's go. I'll take you on a journey to the most beautiful city in the world, the magical City of Lights. And this is a little special treat for my American friends to celebrate the 4th of July. So I'm going to share my screen and take you to Paris. First thing first is obviously, you guys all know the most touristy places, and you don't need me for that because everybody knows how to get to the Eiffel Tower, to all the most touristy areas. And I think I'm here to tell you about those kind of hidden gems and maybe places that you will have not thought or might not be the first thing that comes to your mind when you travel there. I think that you need to experience picnicking in Paris. Go to the farmers market, go to some local shops, grab some things to eat, cheese, charcuterie, bread, all kinds of delicious sweets, and pick your favorite park. This is the best way to experience the city, is to sit down, take a breath, and enjoy the surroundings. Whether you're going to Parc des Buttes-Chaumont, which is a little bit further away from the center, whether you want to experience Champ de Mars across from the Eiffel Tower, go to the Canal Saint-Martin, Place des Vosges, Jardin du Luxembourg, the banks of the river. There are tons of places in Paris where you can just grab a spot, stay away, practice social distancing, of course, grab your food from the farmer's market, support local business, and be outdoors. Experience the outdoors. Of course, many of you will say, well, I really want to go to a restaurant and experience the fine French dining, and go for it. Absolutely. If you're there once in your lifetime, you want to make it a memorable experience. But I much prefer to have something casual, to have an intimate experience, make it more personal, and just sit down and enjoy and see the world passing by. And you can do that by picking a park, and plus you are respecting social distancing. Another thing that may not come across are what they call covered passages or indoor galleries. Paris has many of them, which works kind of like an underground map. There are many books that I've listed here that will talk about the secret passages in Paris. So of course you're not going to see them because they are supposed to be secret or underground, but the most famous one is Galerie Vivienne, which is in the second arrondissement near the subway Bourse. One of the most gorgeous, stunning indoor gallery in Paris. You can find some great shops, bookstores, restaurants, and different little local boutiques that will give you a feel and a history also of Paris. This is different than going to huge department stores or all the big chains. Obviously, you're not coming to Paris to go shop at Gap or Disney. You are there to experience the local brands and the immersion experience and also the culture. So you need to immerse yourself in a place that provides that culture. So you can actually find different self-guided walks through the secret Paris that will take you in all those carved passages, beautiful, stunning through skylights. It's almost like you're stepping back in a different era. The clock has reversed backwards, so that's something definitely that you should experience. Of course, the subway, the metro is the best way to get around town, but don't downsize walking, biking, and of course experiencing scooter. The city has a great rental system through bike and scooters that allows you to have more mobility around the city. Paris has 20 arrondissements, which will translate at 20 districts. It is divided by La Rivière Seine, which is the main banks, and divides the city into two banks, Rive Droite, Rive Gauche. but it's much easier to refer them by the number of arrondissements. So if I meet you near Bourse, I know that Bourse is in the center, it's in the second arrondissement. And that's how you're going to navigate with the subway. The best way to know Paris is to know those different arrondissements, to take a map of the subway and just to navigate. Notice that all the single arrondissement from 1 to 9, single digit arrondissement tend to be more in the center, closer to the river, closer to the main touristy monuments and landmarks. And as you twist out of the city and go to the double digits from 10 until 20, you'll go to the outskirts. It tends to be maybe a little bit less touristy, more popular neighborhoods where French people live. Walk, of course, best way to discover the city because you can go through those different hidden gems, but also the covered passages I talked about. Bike, because then you can zigzag through the cars and cut the subway and have just a different experience zooming through the city. You can also scoot. There is now a rental system of scooters called trottinette that you can also experience along with the biking system called Vélib'. Chicago and Paris are sister cities since 1996 under Chirac presidency. And Chicago has adopted as well the biking system that was inspired in Paris. So this is kind of a major result of the sister cities program. Subway, there's one every 5 minutes in Paris. That's more than 200 subway stops, easy for you. And it also goes into the outskirts, the close suburbs we call the périphérie. So you will always have a great mobility. Tip 4, if you are in Paris for a week and if time allows, if weather permits, I would absolutely encourage you to take a day trip to Paris, unless you want to just focus your trip on learning all about the city, and even a week will not be enough, a month will not be enough. But if you want to experience more than just the Parisian culture, absolutely. Take a trip to Versailles, which is another major must-see, just outside of Paris, an hour away, the castle, the beautiful gardens, but you can go to Picardy on the north of Paris, go to Amiens, go to Reims, the world capital of Champagne, go to different castles, go to Normandy, you're not too far. Get out of the city, and please do me a favor for Americans, do not go to Euro Disney. I strongly discourage older families to go to Euro Disney because one, well, you have already Disney in California and Florida. Why would you want to experience kind of lame version of Disney in Europe, even if it's one of the major attractions in Europe? Skip it, go and experience the culture and the history and the food, something that is local, something that is memorable that you cannot find in the US. You cannot find castles and champagne in the US. You cannot find the beautiful ocean and all the history and the civilization of France. Go to Giverny to discover the beauty of Monet. Go to the vineyards in the north of Paris. Go to the countryside. Arrange transportation, which is probably within 2 hours, because then it would be a round trip of 4 hours. And for a one-day trip, even overnight, you want to make sure that you spend more time on site, sightseeing the monuments than traveling. You don't want to have a vacation after your vacation and exhaust yourself. I'm a French teacher, so I will tell you, if you go to France, obviously that sounds like nothing eye-opening, but speak French. Try to make an effort, immerse yourself in the culture, and try not to compare things. You are not in the US, you're traveling to a different country. Immerse yourself, respect the culture, try to speak with the locals, and appreciate and value the differences, not so much what you're missing, but what you're gaining. So it's really important when you go to France, you're not going to the chain store, to fast food, or you're not going to have the customer service that you are used to. Some shops may not be open on Sundays and people may not speak English to you, but that's not why you're there. You're there to experience a different culture, to immerse yourself out of your comfort zone and speak some French. Contact me and I can give you a quick boot camp. But I think it's really important to appreciate, value, and immerse yourself, because it's going to be a different experience. It's going to take you out of your comfort zone, have a fear factor, but also that's what makes traveling beautiful and engaging. Be adventurous, be creative, be resourceful, do your homework, meaning you want to make sure to have a sense of what you're doing and where you're going. Maybe book some stuff ahead of time. Once COVID is maybe past and you have more safety traveling, you'll be able to book stuff ahead of time. But I think it's so important to not compare and just enjoy the differences and what the city has to offer. Another thing is stay away from the big department stores or maybe the big supermarkets. So if you want to shop and make it a local experience, just like you want to picnic and enjoy the parks, just shop at local markets. Shop at farmers market because this is part of the French culture. Unlike Chicago, that is more seasonal, obviously we're not going to have farmers market under the snow in March when it's below zero. In France, the weather is definitely more continental. So you have an experience of year-round. Sometimes they're indoor markets, but most of the time it's outdoor markets. It is really something that is traditional, that is local. One, you get to speak more French because a lot of farmers markets don't speak English unless they are really in the center of the city. But you get to meet real people, people who are not so much travelers or people who are not super in touristy area. And I think it's great also to experience the real culture through doing what locals are doing, which means shopping at farmers market, encouraging small shops, discovering the different specialty shops we have in France. If you want to buy cheese, go to the fromagerie. If you want to buy cream, there's even a cream shop. Boulangerie, pâtisserie, fromagerie, poissonnerie, go to the local butcher, experience these different little shops, stores that we may not have in Chicago or in the US, and then go and get a coffee and sit at a terrace outdoors and just watch the world passing by. French people love to do that. They're really good at being witness of their own world, and that's it. So bon voyage to you. Make sure that you enjoy Paris. Do your homework ahead of time. Have a sense of what the city looks like. Study the different arrondissements. See where you want to go. And of course, get lost. Immerse yourself in the culture. Walk a lot. I can easily walk maybe 6-7 miles a day. Sometimes subway is not always necessary when you want to experience something, just because the neighborhoods are so close to each other and you can go from one to the other and experience something, a different feel. Of course, there's going to be fear factor. You're going to get lost, and maybe some people won't understand and you'll have communication mishap, but that's okay. That's what makes traveling beautiful. I hope you get to travel very soon. Maybe 2020, 2021. I will see you in Paris next year. Have a great summer, my friends, and happy 4th of July. Thank you for following my YouTube channel, Yapa Photo. I will see you next year.